Let's talk about SDLC. SDLC stands for Software Development Life Cycle. And as test engineers or software testers, we are a major part of that life cycle. So I just want to bring it up so you know what that word means, because you're going to see it quite a lot. And so you get a general idea of how software development happens, what are the stages, and where do we fit in that stage. Now, I have to make a lot of choices on what topics to cover in this video, where I compress a big course into a smaller one, and I felt like SDLC is one of them. All right, so software development life cycle. What is it? It's a structured approach to software development, a structured approach. It identifies stages and processes to ensure high quality software is delivered efficiently, right? Those are kind of like official definitions. They don't mean much until we actually see it. So this is the life cycle. This is how it gets represented most of the time. So you have like stage one, which is planning. Then we have analysis, design, implement, test, maintain. So those are the different stages when you are building software. So let's talk a little bit more and we'll come back to it. So this is just a repetition. There's a planning phase. There's a requirements analysis phase, system design phase, implementation phase, testing phase, deployment, and maintenance phase. We're going to revisit that, okay? So software development methodologies. So Agile and Waterfall. So when we talk about SDLC, there are two major kinds of SDLC. There are methodologies, Agile and Waterfall. You're going to hear the word Agile a lot, especially when you're looking for a job, when you're looking at job posts. You're going to be like, you have to be comfortable with Agile environment. This was Agile environment. So what does that mean? What is the difference? So Agile is an iterative approach to software development where requirements and solutions evolve through collaboration, as opposed to Waterfall is a linear sequential approach. Iterative, linear sequential approach where each phase of the development must complete before moving to the next. So this visualization here represents Agile. And if you notice this one versus what I had here, I just removed the numbers. The numbers are removed because in Agile, really, there is no number. The first time a new project comes, yes, you plan first, you analyze, you design, you implement, you test, you maintain. But after that, as new features are being added, all of this is happening at the same time. Even first, when you plan it, you don't plan the whole thing out. You just have like some kind of wireframe or just have an idea of what you're going to do. But you're going to right away go right into analysis of like a small piece, and you're going to start to design a small piece, and you're going to start to implement that small piece. So you basically just, everything is really fast. You have an idea and you start to work on it. And at the same time, you're going to plan the next thing. How are you going to build up the whole project? But you're going to attack it a small thing at a time, and you're not going to wait for one process to finish to start another one. You're going to start right away. In Waterfall, on the other hand, everything happens in stages, linear sequential, right? So you first plan, you finish planning out the details and everything you can think of. Then you do a lot of analysis. Then you work on just the design part. Then you work on the implementation, meaning writing the code. Then you're going to work just purely on testing. So the code is written, the application is ready, you're going to test it. Then you're going to go into the maintenance mode. So one thing at a time. But here, as soon as you just have a small idea of what it should look like or the small component of the piece, you're going to like right away design it. And as soon as the plan comes out, as a tester, you're going to start to design tests. Developers are starting to design the infrastructure and start to write the code. You're definitely going to be part of every step of this, right? The design part, you're going to be in those meetings, talking about design, understanding how the product is designed. So you're going to design your tests according to the product. Unless the company culture is different. That has been my experience. I worked in a great company where the QAs are part of the engineering team. Our input is basically required and expected in every part of that process. So I'm in every meeting with all the managers, with all the engineers. In my opinion, actually matter. Some companies might have a culture that testers are just testing, the product has to be ready, and they just do test, they don't do anything else. That is possible. I would imagine that a lot of that actually happens. So it all depends on the culture, but have the expectation that you might be just focusing on a testing, or you might be part of every single process, okay? That is the cycle. A lot of people are involved, and as a QA, I always say it opens doors to other careers. That's because you work with everybody. As a tester, you work with everybody. You have product engineers, you have product managers, you have project managers, you have engineers, engineering managers, you have DevOps, release people. You get to work with so many different people, designers, and you get to see what they do. So if later on, if you want to just, like get into different kinds of career paths, you know what they do, you already have connections, you know people. So this cycle actually just kind of shows that the fact that you get involved with so many different stages, with so many different people. So Agile's characteristics is iterative and incremental. So I included this, I kept this just to go over it briefly. This is more for interview purposes, right? In the real job, nobody's going to talk about definition of Agile and things like that. But interviews, when you're going for manual testing positions, especially, discussions about that stuff comes up. So, just from this one slide, you're not going to be an expert at Agile, but it will give you a start. It will give you, okay, I need to know this, right? You will put it on your notes. And you have this PowerPoints in your documents. Whatever you downloaded from the first video of this course, you should have the PowerPoints as PDF, right? If you have any issues with that, let me know. So it's iterative. You can just always changing. As you're working on it, the requirements change. What happens is you work the first piece, the first version, you put it out to your clients, to your customers. You get feedback right away before you start to build too many things. Then based on that feedback, you implement it. And the next thing will be even better. The next thing will be even better. So at the same time, it's like things changing really, really fast. Encourages adaptability and quick response. That's pretty much what I just expect. Collaboration between teams, frequent delivery. So you're going to deliver product really, really fast. Okay. It's great for projects with evolving requirements, fast time to market, strong customer involvement. You get feedback from your customers, so it's pretty good. Require high level of collaboration, that's the weakness, and difficult to implement without a mature team, right? If you have like 2 people working on this project, it's a little bit to be agile. It's a little bit tough to be agile because you have to plan it, you have to make sure things are working, then you move on to the next phase. You can't be working on, studying or analysis and writing the code at the same time. You don't got time. But when you have a big team, some people might be working on this part, other people might be working on that part in parallel. Okay, so they put that as a weakness. Waterfall, I'll just let you read the slide. It's not very common these days. I spend most of my time in Silicon Valley, and pretty much everybody is going to the agile way, not the waterfall way. So just look it up, and when you actually get into a real full training to get you ready for the job, make sure they cover this. Make sure this shows up in their curriculum so you can talk about it on interviews. So this is pretty much what I want to cover here. I just want to explain to you the difference and really what a SDLC is, software development lifecycle, and how we get involved. Why do we need to know about that? Hopefully I did that job. Hopefully you understand what that is, and not too complicated, right? Nothing technical. All right, so let's go to the next video. We'll start to get a little technical actually.